What's up everyone, I'm CallumOnToast, and in today's video I'm going to be showcasing an insane 13 game win streak that I was able to go on in the Open Great League, running Shadow Dragonair, Ludicolo and XL level 50 Lombre. Ludicolo and Lombre both benefit from the bubble buff, as well as both gaining access to the also newly buffed Scald this season. I feel like Water and Grass is a really interesting typing in the current meta, because Grass is typically weak to flying, but the top 3 flyers in the meta right now, in Skarmory, Talonflame and Gligar, all kind of struggle up against water types, and then obviously all the water types in the meta, which there are so many of by the way, are going to have a rough time up against that Grass typing. I'm going to show you guys most of the wins in that 13 game win streak, as well as a few losses either side of that streak. So with that being said, let's just get into the question of the day. What do you think has been the most significant moveset change for the Open Great League meta this season? Let me know in the comment section down below, and with that being said, let's get into the battles now. Alright, so going into the first battle, and I will mention that especially in this first set, some of the opponents aren't maybe running the correct moves that they should be running. It's still early in the season, so it's kind of understandable that you might be facing opponents that aren't quite as skilled as maybe you're used to seeing on the channel, but it's just kind of how it is. I do have a lot of really good matches in the second and third set, so don't worry if you do manage to get past these first few battles. There will be some absolutely insane gameplay, but here I'm able to grab both shields with that Leaf Storm, come in with my Lombre, and I will be able to outpace them to the charge move. We've seen already the opponent didn't go for Icy Wind there, so they're probably not running it, which is definitely a mistake on the opponent's end, but I don't know, maybe they're like me, they don't have any charge TMs, so they weren't able to get the moves they wanted to. We're going to tank the foul play, bank that energy, and come in with my Shadow Dragonair. Gonna use my shield. Dragonair is very squishy, especially in the shadow form, and I'm gonna overfarm massively, go for a body slam just in case the opponent wants to swap out here. I want to have some residual energy, and they do swap into Talonflame, and you can see Fire Spin did get a buff this season, but Incinerate is certainly a lot better to run. But it doesn't really matter. I would have been able to go for the Aqua Tail and Dragon Breath farm them down anyways, and like that I'm able to make it to a body slam up against the Umbreon, taking out the Umbreon, and I'm able to take that game. So GG's to that opponent there. Into the next game, we're going to see Quagsire in the lead, so this is fine with me. Going to stay in initially, and if they do farm up to a potential Stone Edge, then I might swap out. But here, the opponent just going for an Aqua Tail. That is resisted damage, a very odd decision here, and once again, maybe just a lower skilled battler. I can't really choose who I'm facing, but it's just how it is. I assure you though, the next 2 sets are much better than the gameplay in this first set, but it was part of my 13 game win streak, so I did choose to include a couple of battles from this first set. But we go for a body slam, we're going to swap, we get the bubble through as we do swap, and catch the charge move as well, and that will now allow me to make it to a Scald on the CMP tie with the foul play from this Umbreon. So we go for the Scald straight away, and it will be enough damage to take out the Umbreon. They now come in with Lantern, and this is a really good matchup for us, especially when they don't even go up to the Thunderbolt. This will be a double resisted serve that does very little damage. I'm now going to overfarm, go for a Leaf Storm. This would easily one-shot them from this range, so the opponent uses their final shield. We're now going to swap into Shadow Dragonair, basically just force the opponent to throw some of their energy. They once again go for Surf, that's not enough to take us out. They swap back into their Quagsire, and we're looking to be in a very comfortable position. Body Slam does connect, it does big damage. It puts them into bubble farm down range for my Lombre. Although I don't know if a Grass Knot will take out that Lantern, so I'm going to be a little bit careful of how I play this out. The opponent base with an Aqua Tail, thinking I was going to use my final shield, but I didn't use it, and once again going to no shield. This time they go for Stone Edge, and there I realise I can get one extra bubble in, and now I come out with a Leaf Storm loaded, and this will be enough damage to easily take out the Lantern, and I'm able to take that game. So GG's to that opponent there, and into the final battle of this first set. We lead into a wall rain, not great, gonna swap into my Ludicolo, and you're gonna see a little bit of lag here. Well, not lag, it's just sort of frame stutters, and you're going to see I actually don't get off the Leaf Storm there, but looking at the damage I took from that first Icicle Spear, I figured I should just about live that, and I do, and I still get off the Leaf Storm, and the opponent lets it go through, which is massive for me. They now come in with a Beedrill, Purified Beedrill as well, so I'm interested to see if they're running Return on their Beedrill. We're going to come in with the Shadow Dragonair. I actually thought they were going to go for X-Scissor, so I didn't throw straight away since they should be able to outpace me, but they go for a Drill Run instead. We go for a CMP tie here, so Body Slam coming through, grabbing a shield from the opponent. I don't think I can quite Dragon Breath farm them down. I didn't want to throw my final charge move either, so I'm actually going to swap into my Lombre, catch the resisted drill run, and the opponent has a Greninja in the back, so we should be looking pretty good here. We are double resisting the Water Shuriken. Night Sash will not be enough damage to take me out, so I'm going to let the first one go through just in case the opponent does get a boost here. Night Sash doesn't get the boost, but unfortunately we get a frame lag again, and unfortunately we don't get the bubble through, but I will barely be able to make it to a Grass Knot in time, and Grass Knot will be enough damage to take out the Greninja, and I'm able to take that game. So GG to that opponent there, and there we did go 5-0 in that first set. I only included 3 of the battles because actually the other 2 battles were like, honestly, some of the most questionable decisions I've ever seen from an opponent, so I just figured there was no point in showcasing that. But into the next battle, we're going to see a much more, well, relevant meta Pokemon this season in Vigoroth. Now that it does have Rock Slide, typically you will see it as a safe swap, but this opponent using it in the lead. And here I'm going to swap, catch the Body Slam onto my Ludicolo. Body Slam not going to do too much damage, but they will be able to outpace me to the charge move, but instead they come in with their Talonflame, and we're going to find out that unfortunately Ludicolo does lose the CMP tie up against Talonflame. I'm happy to just let it go down here and come back in with my Shadow Dragonair, as that is a very positive matchup. We are going to overfarm here and throw just before the second Incinerate damage registers because we want to keep a decent amount of health on our Shadow Dragonair. We take out the Talonflame, and if they come back in with the Vigoroth, I should be able to fully Dragon Breath, farm them down, coming out with very little HP. I'm going to swap straight away as I didn't know what was going to come in, and it just makes it easier for me to correctly throw the Body Slam in the end game. Now here we shield, they bait with a Surf. That's really bad. Lombre not quite as bulky as Ludicolo, so I don't know if I will be able to live a Thunderbolt from this range. It's going to be close. They do make it to the Thunderbolt, but do we live it? Yes, we do. We barely hang on. We make it to a second Grass Knot. This should be grabbing the final shield from the opponent, but we did bank that Body Slam. We can throw it straight away, and from this range, Body Slam will be enough damage to take out the Lantern, and I'm able to take that game. So GG's to that opponent there. Into the next game, we're going to see Shadow Dragonair into Medicham. So we're going to play this out pretty similarly to how I played up against that Vigoroth. We're going to let the first, well, shield the first move, let them throw first, and then I will be able to overfarm, go for a Body Slam just before they make it to the next charge move, and then I should actually be able to win the one shield scenario, but I don't really want to use my energy. So once again, we swap into Ludicolo. This time I swapped one turn earlier. That allows me to get a bubble through, and the opponent comes in with Azumarill, which is a really questionable swap, as this is a really positive matchup for the Ludicolo. You're going to see though that unfortunately a Leaf Storm barely doesn't take them out if they are running a fully XL Azu. We go for the Leaf Storm, it doesn't quite take them out there. I'm going to overfarm, throw on the CMP tie as they do make it to the next charge move, and this Scald, even though it is resisted and we are debuff, still takes them out. They come back in with the Medicham. We barely miss out on making it to the next charge move, but we were just one Dragon Breath away from a Body Slam. So Body Slam coming through, taking out the Medicham, and they've got Galarian Stunfisk in the back, and this is amazing for us. I can let the first move go through. Rock Slide, not going to threaten a shield there. We can go straight for the Scald, and Scald makes this matchup really good, as Scald does huge damage. We get the attack drop, and now I can safely no shield whatever they throw. Everything will be resisted other than a Rock Slide, and Rock Slide doesn't do much damage. I'm able to bubble, farm down the Stunfisk, and I'm able to take that game. So going into the next battle, really bad lead. I'm going to say swap into my Ludicolo straight away, and the opponent is going to respond with Galarian Stunfisk. And this is a lesson for you guys. If you have a really positive lead matchup, but you don't have an answer to the save swap, you probably should just stay in with that lead matchup there. The opponent, if they wanted to, could double shield and charm farm me down, and I'd still be in a pretty rough position here. But now we do regain switch advantage. We can go for a Scald. Scald, gonna grab a shield from the opponent. We also get the attack drop, which actually might be slightly worse for us, as they do get slightly more energy as they farm me down there, and we still missed out on that final charge move. We're now gonna shield, but the opponent is at back-to-back Weather Balls. We lose the CMP tie, unfortunately, because Lombre does only reach the mid, like, 1300 CP. So we're going to go for a Scald here. This should be taking them out, or grab the final shield. They swap into Greninja, so I'm going to swap, bank some of the energy, come in with my Shadow Dragonair, and I will be able to tank a Night Slash very comfortably. They will outpace me to the next charge move, so I'm going to shield this up, and now I will be able to go for a charge move before they make it to the next Night Slash. I'm actually going to go for an Aqua Tail. This is resisted damage. I do this intentionally because I don't want to take out the Greninja there. I don't want to give the Alola Ninetales any opportunity to farm me down and come out with a move loaded. So instead, we come in with the Lombre, we get the farm down, and I will be able to very easily outpace them to the Scald, taking them out with the Scald, and I'm able to take that game. So GG's to the opponent there. Into the next game, we see Lantern in the lead, so a great lead for our Shadow Dragonair. The opponent is choosing to stay in this matchup, so that's absolutely fine. We will resist everything they throw. I don't mind if they go for a Surf or if they go for a Thunderbolt. It doesn't really matter. It does quite a lot of damage there, but I can very comfortably tank that, and they're not going to be able to Spark farm me down. Now here, I tried to swap and catch the next Surf, as that would be double resisted, and that would put me in a really good position. But instead, the opponent holds on to the energy, but then they swap into Gligar and head-on energy. This is a good matchup for Ludicolo as I go for the Scald, get the attack drop, grab the final shield from the opponent, and as well the opponent is forced to throw their energy, so they go for an Aerial Ace. I'm now going to come in with my Lombre because they are attack debuff, so these wing attacks, they're not actually doing much damage to us. They also end up throwing straight away, so we get the full bubble in for free, and now I can overfarm by 3 bubbles before going for a Scald just before they make it to the next Aerial Ace, and Scald will be enough damage to take out the Gligar. And let's see what the opponent wants to do. The opponent is going to come back in with the Lantern, and we will be able to make it to a Grass Knot before the opponent makes it to a Thunderbolt. Grass Knot will be taking out the Lantern, and the opponent comes in with a Clodsire, and this is fine. We outpace them here. Well, we get there on the CMP tie, which we do win. Scald hits for super effective damage. I can safely let the Sludge Bomb go through. It will be enough damage to take out the Lombre, but we had an Aqua Tail loaded anyway, so I throw it straight away into the Clodsire, taking out the Clodsire, and I'm able to take that game. So GG's to that opponent there. Into the next game, we're going to see Shadow Dragonair into Azumarill. So this, not a good matchup for us, but I'm going to actually stay in, bank at least a Body Slam before swapping into my Ludicolo, and the opponent is choosing to stay in as well. We've seen already, I can very easily tank moves here, so we're going to let the Ice Beam go through. Doesn't do much damage. I'm now going to go for a Leaf Storm, throwing on what looks like a CMP tie with this Azumarill, grabbing a shield there, and we can still live whatever they throw, so I'm happy to let this go through. They go for Play Rough this time. They swap into Medicham, they get the counter farm down, but that's absolutely fine with me. Gonna come back in with the Shadow Dragonair, go for a Body Slam before they make it to an Ice Punch. They let the first one go through. I'm gonna use my shield here, and the opponent actually goes for a Power Up Punch bait, which is quite unfortunate for us, but we can now go for Body Slam number 2. Body Slam is going to take out the Medicham, and they come in with Runerigus, which is quite an interesting play. I'm going to go for the Aqua Tail, as this should be grabbing a shield from the opponent, and it does grab that final shield. We now come in with Lombre. I'm thinking my lose condition here is if I accidentally shield a Sand Tomb, so I let it go through. It is a Sand Tomb bait. Now, I actually don't know if they've got enough energy for the Shadow Ball, but they bait with another Sand Tomb. They're now going to swap back into Azu, and we're going to see Grass Knot doesn't do nearly as much damage as a Leaf Storm, so I will have to throw another charge move here. I throw straight away, probably could have overfarmed just slightly more than that, but Scald takes out the Azu, and the opponent has to go for a Shadow Ball to take me out. Are they at the Shadow Ball already? Let's see. They go for a Sand Tomb. It's not enough, and we do make it to a Scald. But I think even if they went for a Shadow Ball there, I could have just Dragon Breath farmed them down with my Dragonair, so I would have been able to take that game anyways. But GG's to that opponent there. Into the next battle, we see another Azumarill in the lead. So, gonna stay in this matchup once again, farm up to at least a Body Slam, and then swap into my Ludicolo. And this time we do catch a move here. This is just gonna be an Ice Beam. Ice Beam we've seen already, doesn't do much damage. And I will overfarm in this matchup, go for a Leaf Storm. Well, actually, I'm still not gonna throw because I'd still live this, even if it is a Play Rough. And now I can go for the Leaf Storm up against the Azumarill, and this should be grabbing a shield, otherwise it will actually just take out the Azu, and now they come in with a Pelipper, and Leaf Storm is double debuffed, but it still grabs a shield from the Pelipper. So now we can wait out the switch clock here, and I will be able to come in with my Shadow Dragonair. My switch clock is now up. The opponent doesn't farm to the Hurricane, so I'm going to let the first move go through. Weather Ball still does an okay amount of damage there. We farm to the back-to-back Body Slam, so if they shield the first one, I can get off a second Body Slam immediately, and then I'm going to swap into my Lombre to catch the next potential Weather Ball. and I'm able to successfully catch it here. Weather Ball is going to be double resisted. It does very little damage there, and the opponent stays in initially. They come in with Altaria, and I've got 2 shields, but I've only got resisted damage to throw. Lombre, I do believe, does learn Ice Beam, but unfortunately, I'm not running it, so I'm going to shield, and I'm hoping that I can just power through with Bubble and Scald. I will need an attack drop here if I want to make it to another charge move, so can we get the attack drop? Yes, we can. And now can we make it to that last second Scald? No, we barely don't get there. That's super unfortunate, but I'm thinking with that debuff, I might actually be able to just fully Dragon Breath, farm them down. I'm able to do so, and I'm able to Dragon Breath, farm down the Pelipper, and take that game. So GG's to that opponent there. Into the next game, we see Skarmory in the lead, and this is actually why I thought Ludicolo was really interesting, because up against Skarmory, we're resisting the Steel Wing, so obviously Sky Attack gonna hit for super effective damage, but if we can get just 1 Scald debuff, I will now live a Sky Attack. And this matchup is actually pretty comfortable for us. I'm pretty confident as well. Since they are staying in, they've probably got 2 Mud Boys in the back. So Ludicolo is just absolutely going to decimate this opponent's team. We get 2 attack drops there. They need to full send a Brave Bird to take me out. But no, they just go for the Sky Attack. And here, the opponent makes a really nice play, catching the Scald onto their Quagsire. I kind of saw it coming, but it doesn't really matter. I think the win is still in the bag. I'm going to stay in, force the opponent to throw their energy straight away. They do reveal that they are running Alcatel, so it just depends. Are they running Mud Bomb or Stone Edge? I actually don't care. I'm just going to let this move go through anyways. I know my win condition is saving my shield for my Lombre. The opponent comes back in with the Skarmory, but we make it to an Alcatel on the CMP tie with the Sky Attack. We get them incredibly low to the point where we can just bubble farm them down. So I'll let the Sky Attack take out the Dragonair, and they have a Shadow Swamper in the back, and this opponent is going to realize that we absolutely wall them. They go for a Hydro Cannon that does pathetic damage, and the opponent just concedes the match there. So GG's to that opponent, and into, I think, the final battle of the 13-game win streak. We lead into a Toxicroak, so this a fairly neutral lead matchup, but I think Dragon Breath is doing a lot more damage than the counters, so I should be able to shield once, fully Dragon Breath, farm them down. The opponent recognizes that, so they swap into a Azumarill. We're going to swap into our Ludicolo, and this is a really good matchup for us. We are down a shield. I actually don't care if they grab, or if I grab both their shields and they take me out here, because I'm feeling pretty good about this. We can go straight for the Leaf Storm, and Leaf Storm will be grabbing a shield from the opponent. We make it to Leaf Storm number 2. And this is going to be debuffed. It will not take them out, but they double shield their Azumarill anyways. I'm going to let this move go through here, as the opponent is going to go for an Ice Beam. Ice Beam does less damage, and I think I can still make it to a charge move, but the opponent does snipe me with their Toxicroak, and let's see, they come back in with the Azu. I'm actually going to go for a Body Slam straight away, because I figured a Grass Knot probably doesn't quite take them out there, and now they're definitely in range for a Grass Knot to take them out. So I'll let the first move go through, and then I will overfarm just slightly here, throwing on the CMP tire with the Azumarill, and this Grass Knot will now be enough damage to take out the Azu. They've got Bastiodon in the back, so it is not over yet. I think I need a debuff here with this Scald, so we go for the Scald. Scald gets the debuff, and now I will be able to live and make it to a second Scald in time, and Lombre coming in clutch once again, taking out the Bastiodon, and I'm able to take that game. So GG's to that opponent. That was my 13th win in a row, and now we're going to go into the final battle that unfortunately broke that win streak here, up against a Mudshot Poliwrath. I think actually we'd be doing a lot better if this was a counter Poliwrath, because they're able to debuff me before I can make it to that Body Slam, and if they want to, they can no shield this, make it to another Icy win. So I'm going to swap, catch it onto my Ludicolo, but the bad thing here is that they debuff me, so now they come in with a Hitmon top. I'm going to go for a Scald straight away, just because I expect them to shield anyways, and Scald does have the opportunity to debuff their attack, and it does exactly that, so that's nice, but they can just raise it straight away with a Triple Axle, and they will be able to counter farm me down. Now I think I should be able to make it to a charge move on the CMP tire with the next Triple Axle here, but we get more lag, and unfortunately we don't get off a charge move. The opponent can go for the Triple Axle immediately, throwing before I get off the Body Slam, and now I should be grabbing the final shield from the opponent, and if they want to stay in this matchup, this time I am able to get off the Body Slam. We win the CMP tie, but it just depends what does the opponent have in the bag. We're going to swap out immediately, and they've got a Charm Alolan Ninetales, and unfortunately Scald just doesn't quite do enough damage here to take out the Ninetales. And also I think Weather Ball, even if we did debuff them there, would still be enough damage to take us out with a few more charms. So Weather Ball doesn't quite take us out, they get the charm farm down, and they're able to charm farm down my Dragonair, and we do unfortunately lose that game. But GG's to that opponent. Now into, I think, the first battle I actually did with this team. I had a pretty rough first set with this team. I think I went 1-4, so obviously I've just showcased my 13 game win streak, but it wasn't all rainbows and sunshine or whatever the phrase is. And here the opponent's able to make a really nice catch, catching the resisted body slam onto their Alone in Sand Stash. I also had a bit of lag there, which meant that I couldn't even like try and react and click on the Scald, the Aquatail anyways. But now I've put them into range where actually I think I should just be able to tank both the Ice Punches coming through and then just get the bubble farm down before they make it to a third Ice Punch. So let's see, with the bubble buff this season, I will actually be able to get that farm down, which I don't think I would have got in a previous season. Now I could go for Leaf Storm, it's going to do more damage, but I do anticipate a shield being used, so I go for the Scald once again, hoping for that attack drop. We don't get it, which is unfortunate, but it doesn't really matter too much. We come in with the Dragonair, I'm going to force them to throw their energy as they go for the Ice Punch, and now we can come in with the Lombre, and Lombre, this should just be another Ice Punch here, so I'm going to let it go through. It is the Ice Punch, it doesn't do too much damage. I'm going to overfarm here, go for the Scald, and this should be taking out the Medicham, of course, but they actually use the shield. We get the attack drop here, and I'm thinking, maybe I should just let this go through, but no, I shield at the last second, and it is a Azumarill in the back, so I should have let that go through, because we could very easily tank the bubble damage here. That would have been a debuffed Ice Punch, so I would have still had quite a lot of health remaining, and now unfortunately Play Rough will easily take us out from that range, and I do unfortunately lose that game. So GG's to that opponent, and then into the final battle of this video, we lead into Articuno, awful lead, gonna save swap into Ludicolo, and the opponent has a Ferrothorn. So this is just one of the most odd hard counters that you've ever seen, but we do get the attack drop, which is really nice, and I mean, I say it's really nice, it doesn't make too much of a difference here, as they still need 2 charge moves to take us out, but we can go for a second Scald here. And Scald does get a second attack drop, which is actually quite good now, because I should just be able to fully Dragon Breath farm them down. It will be resisted Dragon Breath, so I do come out with quite a lot of energy here, so that's actually pretty good for us. I'm going to come in with the Dragonair, and that was actually quite quick for them to throw, so unfortunately they are running Mirror Shot, and they now get an attack drop, and yeah, that just makes it a lot worse, because now I don't think I'm going to threaten a shield up against the Articuno. That will be coming back in. And so let's see, we're going to go for that Body Slam immediately, throwing just before they make it to the Icy Wind. And what I should have done here is just stay in and then shielded the Icy Wind, because now I swap, I catch the move, that's great and everything, but now I'm debuffed. The opponent does bank a bit of energy, they come in with the Medicham, and yeah, this is just not looking good for us, unfortunately. We can go for the Scald. Scald will be getting another attack drop, so getting very fortunate with the attack drops with Scald in this game. They go for a Power Punch, that does not do much damage, but they do make it to another Power Punch already. And our Power Punch isn't going to do too much here. I kind of need to save the shield for the Dragonair, but I kind of know it's already game over. Articuno has quite a lot of health remaining. They are very close to a charge move as well. We're going to go for the Body Slam here, and Body Slam will be grabbing the final shield from the opponent. I kind of have to shield this up, but it doesn't really matter. They go for another Power Punch, they swap into Articuno, they get the farm down, and they have that Icy Wind loaded. And Icy Wind will easily be enough damage to take out the Lombre, and we do unfortunately lose that game. So that's going to be it for today's video. If you did enjoy it, please make sure you leave a like, leave a comment letting me know, and as well, don't forget to respond to the question of the day if you haven't done so already. And if you want to see more content like this in the future, make sure you hit that subscribe button and turn on post notifications. That way you'll be notified whenever I upload a new video. And with that being said, thank you all so much for watching today's video, and I hope you have a great rest of your day.